The Hong Kong government spokesperson says the government has completely halted the controversial extradition bill that has triggered violent protests. Now, you're looking at protesters still blockading Hong Kong's police headquarters. The withdrawal of the bill was, of course, one of their main demands.
And the government statement out tonight stopped short of using words like withdraw or retract, but it does say that the current session of the legislature will end in July next year, by which time the bill amendment would lapse. And I'm quoting now, the government will accept this reality.
Now, protesters also want Chief Executive Carrie Lam to quit. Demonstrators arrested during last week's chaos to be released, and allegations of police brutality to be investigated. Predominantly young crowds have been upping the pressure on authorities all day. They had earlier blocked government offices and caused traffic chaos. Well, tonight's government statement also said the demonstrations have caused a great deal of public inconvenience. It appealed for the protests to be peaceful.
A new wave of demonstrations hit Hong Kong today as protesters brought traffic to a standstill around Admiralty and Wan Chai. What started off as a peaceful sit-in outside the Legislative Council soon turned into a mass siege on the Hong Kong police headquarters. Hundreds of people wearing black started gathering bright and early this morning after the government continued to ignore their demands. And at around 11 a.m., the crowd surged and again began blocking major highways in Admiralty. Buses, cars and lorries were blocked as the activists filled the lanes on Harcourt Road. Some protesters set up makeshift barricades to mark their occupied section of the road. However, minutes later, pro-democracy activist Joshua Wong made a call to protesters in Admiralty to move their demonstration to the police headquarters in Wan Chai. Within an hour, thousands had surrounded the building and nearby roads.
Occupy outside the police headquarters and urge police apologize to people with how they use rubber bullets, shoot towards people, and define protests as riot. And we have more than thousands activists gathered outside police headquarters.
The police force appealed to protesters to stop blocking the area and to leave peacefully. But the defiant crowds refused to back down. Demonstrators continued their calls for the government to scrap the controversial extradition bill. They also renewed their calls for Chief Executive Carrie Lam to resign.
She's not prepared, obviously, to give the impression that she's climbing further down, bowing to people's pressure, because this Hong Kong government, at the behest of Beijing, is used to show authority of an executive-led administration. But the replies these days, her responses, have come in too little, too late, and too fake, I'm afraid, and the young simply find them rather unacceptable, and that's why that explains the huge crowd here still this morning. We just hope everything will be kept reasonably peaceful today.
Tension soared throughout the afternoon, with police raising a warning flag when protesters tried to rush into the building. Police officers made several attempts to negotiate with the activists, but failed. By lunchtime, the rally spread to nearby government buildings, and protesters started blocking other nearby roads. Demonstrators didn't stop government staff from doing their work. However, the large-scale gathering prompted some government departments to let staff go home early. This is the first time that protesters laid siege on the police headquarters and numerous other government buildings as they try to ramp up pressure on the government.